Hi, I'm Dan, and today we're going to go over the latest changes for the BookStack 2025 February release. Now there are a few upgrade notices for this release, the first of which is a change to the minimum version of PHP required. This has changed from 8.1 to 8.2. This probably won't affect most people, but it will affect maybe some people on older platforms. If you need to find out what version of PHP you're on, or need to know how to upgrade it, we've got a little bit of guidance if you follow the link from our upgrade notices section of the blog post to the updating PHP and Composer documentation page, where you can come here and there's full guidance on how to upgrade, especially if you use one of our installation scripts. Otherwise, sorting also has a change where now when you just change the sort order of chapters and pages in a way that's not actually moving them or doing anything more extensive, then these sort order changes will no longer be reflected on the updated date for that chapter or page. And lastly, due to some added functionality which we'll get onto later, there's a change to the theme system in that if you had a public folder in the top level of your theme folder, this will now be exposed for public access. Now onto the core feature for this release, which is automatic sorting. So here I've got a book that's using a kind of a numerical naming scheme, but it's all over the place. So of course I could come into the sort area and then start kind of dragging things manually. And then we have got these little helpers that just help you instead of dragging, so sort by name. But this doesn't really work with my numerical naming scheme. See, we've got like 100 before 2, because that's just a basic alphabetical name. Plus, when I make changes to this book, for example, I create pages or edit the names of a chapter, I would have to come back in here to resort it. Whereas now there is an automatic way of doing this. So I'm going to cancel out of this for now to keep things very unorganized. And I'm going to jump over to settings, where there is a new sorting category. So if I click on that, we'll come back to this top option in a second. But down here we have sort rules. So these are predefined sets of sorting operations that you can then apply to books. So let's create a new one to work with our numerical based book. So we'll create a name for this. This is just used as a label to inform others that may be choosing this sort rule later in the system. And then down here we can drag in sort operations. So we want name, numeric, and then I'm also going to add chapters last, just so all of our pages get to the top of the book and we have our chapters last. And these will be executed in order. For example, if I did it this way round, then this chapters last is effectively redundant because it'll put the chapters last and then it's going to sort it all by name anyway. And typically you'd either only have one or two operations configured because, for example, if we added the created date, then that's just going to then override the name sorting. So normally you have one of these sorts and then you may have chapters first and chapters last. But you never know, we may expand these out with other ones in the future that work well with other types of sorts. But anyway, we'll save this to create it. There we go. And we can see our numerical name sort here. And now if we jump back over to our book, we can go to the sort page again. And then up here, there's the auto sort option. So we can click on that. Here's our numerical name sort. And we can still change things through this interface, even if we have an auto sort option here, but it's just going to be sorted after we save anyway. So this is still useful though, because we could kind of move things in and out of chapters and then organize between other books. But the sort order specifically is kind of redundant if we got a sort option there. So I'll save this new order with that auto sort option, and then it's sorted everything how do we expect. So we've got everything here sorted by the numerical value. And that sort is specifically taking any numbers from the start of the name, and it does account for decimals as well. So I think if we actually look in our chapter, we've got a few things in here. So these decimal based names are now sorted also. So jumping back to the settings, there's this default book sort option where we can select one of our sort rules. So if we wanted that numerical name sort for every new book that's created, we can select that. But if you're upgrading with a lot of existing content, you may be thinking, okay, how do I apply this to all my existing books? Because this might be really useful if I just want to have a name sort on everything by default. Well, to help with kind of batch operations, there's a new command added to BookStack, which is the PHP artisan BookStack assign sort rule command. You can actually just run this without any options and it will just list out the existing sort rules in the system. But otherwise, to actually utilize this command, you pass it a sort rule that you want to apply. So in this case, let's just have our standard name sort, and then you pass in an option to identify what books you want it to assign to. So I'm going to pass in the option books without sort. So this will essentially assign this sort rule 1, which is name sort, to all books that don't already have a sort applied. So if I run this, it's going to ask for confirmation. Do you want to continue? Yes. And it's going to chunk through, apply them, and it's also going to run that sort. So all of those are going to be updated with the correct sort right away. Then with that done, if we refresh this page, we can see we've now got the name sort applied to 225 books and numerical name sort applied to 1 book. If you're interested in using this assign sort rule command, it is in our documentation with examples of various things that you might want to do. So now onto some improvements to the search indexing system. We've made some specific improvements to how terms are indexed, especially those that contain certain punctuations that might be part of a term. So for example, a term like this with a full stop, where it's 7:34 p.m. Previously that would have been indexed as two parts, 7 and then 34 p.m. But now we're still doing that as two terms, but then we also index the full complete term, so 7:34 p.m. So what this means is that a term, including a decimal point, can now be used as a normal search term, and that will perform a proper index search that will properly score as part of the search system, whereas before it would just turn it into an exact match term, which would then filter the search results rather than properly scoring them. And this is the same with hyphens. Hyphens weren't previously considered by the search indexer at all, but now we treat them the same as decimal points. So T-Rex will now properly find content based on that entire term using the search index system. And then we've also added some level of support for guillemets. I'm not sure how to pronounce them, but these kind of angle brackets that are used, I think maybe in French quite a bit, they're now considered the same as other brackets. And these improvements will apply to all new content saved within the system, but if you want to apply these improvements to your existing content, you can run this regenerate search index command, which will go through everything you've already got in your system and regenerate it using the new logic. Now moving on to the new WYSIWYG editor, this has again received a bunch of improvements and fixes, with one of the main additions being you can now select custom colors as you could do before in the old editor, and then they are remembered so you can reselect them from the menu. But a bunch of other things have been added as well, such as table captions and auto conversion of URLs when you add media content. So generally this new editor is now at feature parity to the old existing WYSIWYG editor, but there's still quite a few little bugs and usability concerns. So I just want to iterate on it a little bit more before we then move it into the beta status. So now onto an addition for our theme system. It's now possible to publicly expose files that can then be loaded in the browser. So this is useful for things like JavaScript files and CSS files that you might want loaded as part of your theme. But before we didn't have anywhere official to put this, you'd have to maybe put these files within the uploads, but it was a bit messy and not contained within your theme folder itself. So now we've added an official way for this. Within your theme folder, you can now create a public folder, and then anything within here will be served on a public path for the application. So if we go within here, we can see that I've got an image of Barry, and it's called barry.png within my public folder within my theme folder, and my theme is called custom. If I switch back over to the browser, we can access that image at my BookStack path /theme/custom, because that's my theme name, and then at the file path within that public folder, so in this case just barry.png. And our visual theme system documentation has been updated to include full details about how to use this public folder system. And now on to what was the core intent for this feature release. The underlying framework for BookStack has been upgraded. So we were using Laravel 10, but we've now upgraded to a Laravel 11, which just helps to keep us on a stable and supported version of the framework. And naturally, along with this comes a lot of updates to the core dependencies and libraries that we use within BookStack. But really, this is just a back-end change, so hopefully you should have no negative impact of these changes. And of course, as usual, our wonderful translators have been continuing to translate the text for BookStack, so a massive thanks to everyone featured here on this list that has helped to update the BookStack translation since the last feature release. So in regards to next steps, we've got our BookStack 10-year anniversary coming up in the summer. So I've been thinking about potentially maybe taking on a big new bulky feature, maybe something that a lot of people requested, but I'm not completely set on that, so it may be a case of just playing around and seeing which direction I want to head in. But as I mentioned earlier, I do want to raise the new WYSIWYG editor to a more beta position. So to help with the iteration, if I do end up working on a bigger, chunkier release that takes more time, what I'll probably do is iterate on the new WYSIWYG editor a bit more via patch releases, just so we can get out those changes a bit more frequently so that people can get using it and I can get feedback a bit quicker. But that's everything in this video, so I hope you like what's new in this release. I wish you a smooth upgrade and I hope you have a wonderful day.